Hello everyone, this is a guide for my Microsoft Excel add-in demo. Today, I'm going to demonstrate all of the macros written for this add-in. The goal for this demo and this guide is to give you an idea of what's possible with Excel add-ins. These add-ins are meant to be highly customizable. Each of the macros can be written to suit your exact needs. Here, I've tried to show some common use cases, but pretty much anything in Excel can be automated down to a single button press. Each add-in comes with its own ribbon tabs, each with its own customizable user interface. For this demo, I've used official Microsoft Office icons, but custom images are also supported. For our first example, we're going to automate some existing Excel functions. In this case, data validation. For our first macro, we'll select the button to create a drop-down list, then select the range of cells containing the values for a drop-down, and then click OK. This will create a drop-down list in the highlighted cell, where this cell can only accept values from the list. The next macro copies data validation. First, we'll select a cell with existing data validation, then the range of cells we want to copy the validation to. There are also macros to create validation for numeric values, or a simple yes-no dropdown. Lastly, a macro to clear any validation from the selected cells. You've probably noticed that some of the text in the sheet is too long and it overflows into the next cell over. This is one of my pet peeves with Excel, so I've added a macro here to automatically adjust the width of all columns to fit their contents. You can also reset all columns to their standard width. Equivalent macros are available for rows as well. For the next example, I'll show how an add-in can automate calculations. I have a list of test scores here, and I want to calculate some statistics about it. I'll click the button to calculate descriptive statistics, then select the range of test scores. The macro is set to calculate all of these values. From here, we can copy the results and paste into the spreadsheet. Another handy thing you can do with add-ins is create UDFs, or user-defined functions. These are more or less custom Excel formulas. I have a UDF prepared here called Correl Matrix. This will calculate a correlation matrix for a series of data. Here's the example data I'm working with. I have series for employee evaluation score, the number of projects each employee is working on, their average monthly hours, and the number of years with each company. To find out what the correlation between these variables are, I'll use this the same way you use any other Excel formula. Type equals Correl Matrix, then select everything as the input range. And there you go, correlation matrix. Now, unfortunately, there's no easy way to add tooltips for UDFs, but I have a macro here that will tell you everything you need to know about the Correl Matrix UDF. The next few examples are all about importing data into a workbook. I have two use cases here. The first is about a tensile test, that is mechanical testing of materials. I'm going to add a template sheet, then select the one I've created for this example. Now let's take a look at the data we're importing. As you can see, there's information here for a user ID, the test timestamp, sample length with thickness, and series for load, extension, and time. Now let's go back to our Excel file and click Import from CSV. As you can see, all the data from the file was imported, and in addition, series for stress, strain, and strain rate are calculated here. I've also added a chart for a stress-strain curve to this macro. Importing data also works for complex structured data. Here I have a JSON file with names and emails for multiple employees from a company. In Excel, I'm going to skip adding a template sheet. I'll just directly import from the JSON. The macro recognizes that a template sheet doesn't exist, so it'll automatically create one. The sheet here is then automatically populated with the data from the JSON file. If I go ahead and import another employee JSON, the macro will recognize that a template sheet already exists, and it'll add more columns for the new data. Sticking with the employee data use case, I want to show you how you can use a user form to manually enter data. Now, you've already seen some user form examples with the template sheets and UDF documentation macros, but I'm going to show you a more robust example. Clicking the Add Employees Manually button will bring up a user form where I can add the company name and employee names and emails. Here I can add more fields for as many employees as I want. When I click Done, it'll add the data to the template sheet. User forms can do a lot more than this even. They support all types of UI controls, including drop-down lists, radio buttons, checkboxes, etc. The last examples I have are all about getting data out of Excel. You can embed files directly in Excel and then open them with a macro. If I click this Installation User Guide button, this will open a PDF showing a general installation guide for Excel add-ins. You can also directly export any Microsoft Office file types. If I click the TensorTest Export button, this will save an Excel workbook that contains the template sheet used for the TensorTest example cases. Thanks for watching. The source code, releases, and all example files I used in this video are available on the GitHub linked below.